Next, on to double sculls, and the first we've seen of these crews here. We've got on the right-hand side of your picture Leander clubs, Brayshaw and Leyden, and on the left-hand side of your picture Nottingham rowing clubs, Hicken and Lindo. And now, I certainly recognise the names in this Leander crew. We've got Jess Leyden in the stroke seat here, setting the pace. Well, she was a champion of, well, multiple records and a historic first ever gold medal in the junior women's single scull back in 2011.
Which was an incredible feat. Which was an incredible feat, you know. And then she's moved into the kind of the international system. You know, she's been a bit unwell, so she's trying to find her feet again and going back to a club, just trying to rebuild herself. And to come to Henley and the club crew, I think will really help her kind of progress on in the next Olympiad.
Yeah, and they're being challenged through the first 100 metres or so by the crew from Nottingham, and this combination made up of Amy Hicken in the bow seat, Jade Lindo in the stroke seat, and another, well, building on from our previous conversation, world-class start centre.
And that's great to see all those centres coming together and actually racing at the regatta. And, you know, for them to go up against Leander is a huge, you know, race. You know, you think about Leander, one of the premier clubs in the country. They've got a great system now with the women's programme. Not going to brag about my brother, but he's done a great job with the women's system there, the new head coach of the women's programme. So he's got boats scattered across all events during the regatta. But yeah, it's a real tough one at the moment.
Now, I did say that Jess Leyden was in the stroke seat. It looks to me like they've actually swapped over, and Jess Leyden's in the bow seat here for Leander Club. But we're going to go live now. We're moving through the centre part of the course, and Leander are starting to push ahead, and perhaps the just more experienced combination here of Brayshaw and Leyden overhauling the less experienced athletes from that world-class start programme at Nottingham.
I think we will talk about the importance of experience, especially at an event like this, you know, with so much going on around you, with, you know, the conditions, launches going past, the different markers we spoke about, people on the bank. You know, that experience of being racing up the Henley course does come into play on days like this, especially when it's quite challenging conditions.
Yeah, and Jess Leyden, we've already mentioned her international accolades, but a Henley winner here as well, winner of the Princess Grace Challenge Cup in previous years for quadruple sculls. Now moving into this new category, this new event from a couple of years ago. You know, this is only, I want to say, the third year of the Stonor. Potentially, Mark, you might be able to correct me.
I'm going to go with your knowledge is pretty good, so I'm going to say yes, you are correct.
I thought as the steward in this pairing, you'd be able to fact check me.
There are so many events now. It's, you know, it's great, but trying to keep up with everything, it's obviously quite challenging. But it's been great to see the new events come in this year, and obviously this one that was established a few years ago. So it's, yeah.
This is actually the fourth year. So the 2020 year, just playing with my brain a little bit. But we're zooming in here on Nottingham University. They qualified for the A final on both the Saturday and the Sunday at the Met Regatta, which again, a very prestigious regatta, very competitive regatta, where a lot of crews who are aiming for Henley Royal Regatta use that as a stepping stone to see and mark where their progress is, and sometimes actually potentially, you know, get their mind in for the regatta and their race plan. And
that's the thing, those kind of domestic events filter into kind of being the seeding or getting placed into the regatta. You know, they're so important, and also we haven't had a full racing season, so it's been really interesting to see the crews that have actually used those and really progressed quite quickly, rather than over the kind of duration of the season which you normally see.
Well, Nottingham Rowing Club will certainly be inspired, because another graduate of the World Class Start programme in the stroke seat for Leander Club is Georgie Brayshaw. She was on that programme up in Leeds just a few years ago, and then she moved to join the Caversham training group back in 2019. So that big step on from being a new athlete to the sport to stepping up to the senior platform, it's so difficult to do.
It's really challenging. It's really, and I don't think people appreciate how hard it is, and it takes time, you know, to adapt to that, you know, level of training, the environment, but also learning from those people around you. And that's the thing, as a young athlete, I always just looked at how much can I learn from these superstars. You know, when I moved into the team, you know, we had likes of Matt Pinson, Catherine Granger, all those people there. So just learning from them, and not necessarily racing with them, but just observing them, being around them, the things you pick up are so important. And also I think it's really important with these youngsters that have come through those programs is they need to go back and inspire the next generation and give them insight of what it was like. So it really helps their kind of development and speeds that up.
Yeah, the more experienced combination. Brayshaw, 27 years of age, Leyden, 26 years of age. In comparison to the crew from Nottingham Rowing Club, just 21 and 22 respectively. So they've got a few more years to build on this performance, to come here and race the regatta. They'll feel inspired that they could perhaps be in the position that Georgie Brayshaw is in right now, looking back in this Friday of the event.
And I think that's the uniqueness, that you can always see your progression in that sport. You know, you can see how you're improving, and they can monitor that. And they won comfortably yesterday, so that they actually won on the track, which was great. And they obviously come up a really against a tough opposition today, which is a really established, I don't want to say established unit, but established athletes who have been here and kind of done it before. And that experience does pay dividends, especially we talked about the conditions, how challenging they are, but also the height of the event as well. Dealing with that is so important.
So perhaps another hot pick in this event, the Stonor Challenge Trophy. Leander Club, Georgie Brayshaw and Jess Leyden for Leander Club were taken a little bit by surprise off the start by the young guns from Nottingham Rowing Club, but they've wrestled through to a pretty imperious margin, and Jess Leyden looks for the line there to take the victory in this heat of the Stonor Challenge Trophy. They'll paddle on back to their home club at Leander. A quick tap on the shoulder there, job well done. And the final few strokes through the enclosure, which I'm sure they'll make the most of their final few strokes at the 2021 Henley Royal Regatta for Nottingham Rowing Clubs, Jade Lindo and Amy Hicken.